Are you all set, sir?
Okay, I'd like to call the April 6th, 2021 North Providence Town Council meeting to order. Please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and our standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask everyone that we take a moment of silence for Councilman Laporcio's dad, Salvatore Laporcio. Thank you. Okay, item number 1, acceptance of meeting minutes, discussion and possible action with vote with regard to the acceptance of meeting minutes from the meetings of February 25th and March 2nd, 2021. Do I have a moment to accept the minutes?
So moved.
I believe that was Councilman Di Lorenzo made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Famagetti. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Proposed ordinances. A notice was given of a public hearing on this day whereby the town council would consider passage of the following proposed ordinances. Item number 2, ordinance 21-002. An ordinance amending chapter 19, article 10, section 19-30 of the Code of Ordinances of the town of North Providence entitled "No Parking on Certain Streets Generally" to provide for certain parking restrictions on Wanda Court in the town of North Providence. Do I have a motion to pass ordinance 21-002?
So move.
Motion's been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martone. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 3, extension for submission of budget. Mayor Lombardi requests discussion and possible vote on an extension for the submission of the budget. Mr. Mayor?
If you talk.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mayor.
so we're still trying to get the information pertaining to the additional monies that we will be receiving. There are many uncertainties, as the letter states, and we just thought that the right thing, a very complete request for this year would be to ask for an extension until the May meeting. And
Yeah, I'll read that letter into the record. I apologize, Mayor. Dear President Audiello and members of the Town Council, I am respectfully requesting an extension for submission of the fiscal year 2022 budget for the town of North Providence. While I realize the date to submit the town's budget is April 1st, we're requesting an extension because of the uncertainties of the direction of the federal and state government for additional funding to the town and school department will be receiving. Therefore, I am requesting this extension to provide you with the budget at the May 4th Town Council meeting. Thank you for your consideration of this request. I look forward to a favorable response. Very truly yours, Charles Lombardi, Mayor. Okay, is there any questions for the mayor? There being none, do I have a motion to grant the extension?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Di Lorenzo. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Laporcio. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mayor.
if I may, and I know we had chatted about this maybe a couple of times, I would respectfully request that you think about setting up a meeting with our office and all of the council people to discuss, our priorities, with the additional monies that will be coming in. I know everyone has, different, wish list. And we need to vet that so that, I think everyone's requests from maybe their constituents can be addressed. So at your convenience, if you could, call a special meeting for that purpose, I just think it's the right thing to do.
Okay, thank you. I'm actually going to put that in with number 4, paving and funding of town roads. Mayor Lombardi requests discussion and possible vote regarding paving and funding of town roads. Go ahead, Mayor.
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, last year, the council put in their contingency budget $394,000 in case there was an issue with the schools needing some additional funding. That doesn't seem to be the situation now. And also based on meeting with and I think you were at one of the meetings, Mr. Chairman. So I know we also had talked about, and hopefully you will take a vote later on. I know Councilman Iammarigi has it in his report for the spending of $75,000 to purchase that property next to the DPW garage so that we can move the fuel depot there. So bottom line with the dollars, Mr. Chairman, is if we utilize $75,000 of that 394, then it will leave a balance of 319. And I'm just thinking that, and hopefully you would agree that we can restore that 319 to the paving budget, because I think last year we did take some money out of the paving budget. And I think, we get a lot of calls. I'm sure you guys get a lot of calls on the paving. We met with the grid, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago, to go over all the streets that they've updated with the gas lines, that they're going to be responsible to pave half those streets. So we're in decent shape there, but I think the roads were, let to go too long, and we're just basically playing catch up. So that's a suggestion. Bottom line, it will be your call, but it would be approximately 319 to be restored to the paving budget. Now, that money, let me just say this to you, and you'll be reading it in your new audit report. I think that money needs to be put to good use and not added additionally to our surplus. You'll read in the new audit report, by the way, that came to us without one deficiency, that we've added another $1.3 million to our surplus, which is now at $15.2 million. And that doesn't account the cash on hand. So, and based on our numbers this year, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, I think we're in good shape as far, financially. So again, this will help for our bond rating, but more importantly, I think it's the right thing to, if we got these monies there, to utilize it to catch up with a little more paving in town. But again, that's your call.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the mayor on the paving?
I do.
Councilman Di Lorenzo?
Mayor, so when could we expect the streets that have been done already, as far as National Grid is concerned, when can we expect to see some kind of activity to get those streets done?
Well, Stephen, actually the paving companies are starting to make asphalt tomorrow.
Okay.
So there's been no asphalt except for coal patch, where we patch some holes around town. So I would think that I know Bernie has met with the Miozy company that has the bid for our paving. But I also think what helps us is that the company that National Grid utilizes for paving, they've matched our bid with the Miozy. So some of those streets, entered into an agreement with I want to say it's Hartford Paving, as long as they can pave that half of the road and match our bid, because we think it's the right thing to just go in, rather than let Hartford go in and pave half the road. And then all of a sudden we come in and pave the other half of the road, maybe a month or two or whatever later. You get that seam that you really don't need. So the right thing is, if they're gonna match the bid and they're gonna put the exact amount of asphalt down on the road, and that helps, by the way, we get them done twice as fast. So that's what we're doing with that, Steve, to answer your question.
Okay, so the 319,000 or approximately around there after the 75 for the properties, that 319 is gonna go towards asphalt to utilize it for that. Am I correct?
Right, and that 319 needs to be spent prior to July 1st. Well, then it becomes part of the surplus. I shouldn't put it this way. We don't need that right now.
Is there any other questions for the mayor? Okay, I have a motion to put this in the finance committee with, Mayor, we're gonna do a finance meeting in the next week or two. So we can do this and have that meeting about the federal money coming in.
Just let us
And,
know, Mr. Chairman.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Who
Who
made the
made that
motion?
motion? I'm
Make the
sorry.
motion. I'll make the
Councilman
motion.
Di Lorenzo, seconded by Councilman Bacala. Any further questions? There being none, all those in favor?
All right.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you. Item number 5, Utica and Martin Street abandonment petition continuance. Town council to consider the approval of a petition to abandon Utica and Martin Street submitted by 1601 Mineral Spring Avenue LLC. The petition was advertised on July 10th, July 17th, and the 24th, 2020, and was continued to this date. Give me a second here. Dear Attorney Welch, on behalf of my client, 1601 Mineral Spring Avenue LLC, who is scheduled to appear before the town council on April 6, 2021, I respectfully request that the matter be continued to the next town council meeting. The applicant is scheduled to appear before the town's planning board on April 14, 2021, after the planning board hearing. Thank you. Kindly contact me at any time. Sincerely, Mary B. Sakachi, attorney at law. Do I have a motion to continue this?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Montone. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 6, Lucky Cottage Incorporated, DBA Lucky Cottage. Summons was delivered to Kevin Lau, registered agent for Lucky Cottage Incorporated, DBA Lucky Cottage, located at 1610 Mineral Spring Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island, for a formal hearing and possible vote concerning the BV liquor license for this establishment and the failure to complete the requirements to renew said license. This item was continued from the February meeting. I have a letter here from Attorney Lombardi. Dear Mr. President and council members, as you know, my office represents the above named holder of the BV liquor license regarding its renewal. We had last appeared before the council approximately 60 days ago, when the council graciously granted a continuance. While the license holder continues in its efforts to satisfy all the requirements for renewal, its landlord has notified the license holder that his location at 1601 Mineral Spring Avenue will no longer be available after June 2021. In the meantime, the license holder has been closed for the past 30 days and will continue to be closed as it's transitioning out of the property and seeking a new location to which to transfer the license. As it is closed and transitioning out of its current location, there should be no concern that it will serve alcoholic beverages at this time or that there will be any risk of public safety. We are seeking a continuance of the hearing to the June town council meeting to provide my client time to both satisfy the requirements and find a new location for its business. Thank you for your assistance. Very, very truly yours, Valentino Di Lombardi. I have no issue with issuing a continuance. Is there any questions on that?
I have one, Council President. For how long are we looking to?
It
Just
says
for-
the
Till June.
June.
Are we gonna, is this, I'm just asking, is this kicking the can down the road too? It's gonna be, what do we think the chances are that it's gonna?
Well, it's more about the location. They have to, I think if they can't find a location in, by the next month, we'll probably get the license back. Since they've been in town for a while, I just wanted to give them the opportunity to try and find a new location, and see if they could, establish something. But, I don't, hopefully it can work out.
Okay. That's,
Mr. President, Council President.
Go ahead.
Okay, so unless I'm mistaken, was the Lucky Cottage on the tax thing that was going on there a few weeks back? Did Lucky Cottage pay all their taxes? Were they part of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Mary Ann, so was everything paid?
No, they haven't paid. They haven't complied yet. But that's what the letter said. They're saying that they're not open, so there's no public safety concern and they won't be serving alcohol. So it's kind of in limbo, so to speak. They're not using the license. It's kind of in limbo.
Yeah, but
They're still operating though?
No, they're
No,
not
they're not.
operating. The premises are closed. The restaurant is closed until they find another location. If you look at that letter from Attorney Lombardi, it explains that they've been closed for at least a month, I believe it says. And they don't plan on reopening in that location. And in the next month or so, they will be looking for a location. And Councilman, they cannot transfer that license unless all of these taxes are paid and all of the requirements are met. So they can't transfer it unless they pay these anyway. So, you know.
Yeah, so basically, the idea behind this is just giving them a month to try and find a new location. If they can't find a new location, they won't, thank you, Marianne, by the way. They wouldn't be able to transfer the license anyways. So, because obviously the above item is for the street abandonment.
Right.
They don't have a location anyways. I believe they're looking at 2 sites, so they asked, if we grant them the extension, but, I think it's worth it. Does anybody have any more questions? Do you have a motion to extend this?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Martone, seconded by Councilman LaFortio. Any further questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 7, 787 Restaurant and Lounge LLC, DBA 787 Restaurant and Lounge. Summons was delivered to Liz Vasquez, registered agent for 787 Restaurant and Lounge LLC, DBA 787 Restaurant and Lounge, located at 1270 Mineral Spring Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island, for a formal hearing and possible vote concerning the BV liquor and entertainment licenses for this establishment and the failure to complete the requirements to renew said licenses. This item was continued from the February meeting. Is Ms. Vasquez here?
Yes, Council President, I'll bring her in. Go ahead.
Does anybody have any questions for Liz Vasquez?
I have one. I don't know if it's for Mr. Vasquez or anybody else, but what's been how has everything been since we've had the details and all that? Because I know we haven't really talked about that. Is everything, do we have anything from the police department or anything or no?
We didn't get anything from the police department.
If I could just jump in, I'm sorry, Ron, I don't mean to cut you off. I know we
No.
got some residents that are on the line here. We did ask the police department to report back to us. Is anybody on for the police department?
I haven't gotten any reports, Councilman.
No, I'm asking if there's anybody logged on.
I see no name by anyone.
All right, well, in our last meeting on this, we had said that we wanted the police detail. I'm just reading from the meeting minutes we just approved. The detail will be Friday, Saturday, Sundays, 10 to 2, and have a report back at the April Town Council meeting. So I was hoping that the police department would be on tonight so we can have an idea of what's going on over here. But since they're not on, or maybe the mayor can speak on their behalf. Mayor, is the mayor still on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, so based on what I know, I think it's stuff you and I have talked a few times in the last couple of weeks. I think there was a little bit of a problem there, I want to say a week and a half ago, in where the officer was out in the front, basically should have been down in the back, and they also have a couple of security guards there. And then one night they didn't have a detail. They couldn't get a detail. So when we went to the staff meeting, told them, even if they have to reach out to another community, make sure there's a detail there, because in talking with a couple of the residents, they say that, and stuff, I'm sure you can verify this, that it's night and day when there's a detail there, or two. So I can only tell you this, that the police are all over it. And we also told them when we met with them that no detail officer is to leave there and allow the employees to stay in the building. When the detail officer leaves there, the building has to be cleared out. And it's been working. All I can say is that we're staying on top of it. We're not gonna take their nonsense. And that's where we are. Now, I know, Steph, you had talked with Bobby also, and maybe there was a suggestion that the detail start an hour earlier. So,
Yes.
I mean, listen, from a business sense, I don't think that's an issue with cost to those people. That place is doing, a great business, and God bless them, but it can't be at the cost of the neighbors having to live with that nonsense. So
I totally agree, Mayor, and that's one recommend. Well, I think we're gonna have a significant discussion on this tonight. That's one area that I'm in favor of, is extending that. However, I did want the police department to be on tonight because I know, Mayor, we had talked about we've all been working together on this, but we've talked about being in the front of the parking lot, in the back of the parking lot, and I'd like to know if there's a need for additional enforcement, additional detail in the front. That's why I wanted the police on here tonight to get a report back. But I think maybe the best thing to do right now is, we can hear from the neighbors, and they'll probably echo what the mayor and I have been dealing with. We've been, and Kenny as well, we've been dealing with the residents and whatnot, and we've been hearing that night and day when there is the detail. So maybe it's time to let everybody else chime in. Dino, I think you're muted.
You're muted, Dino.
Is there anyone from the public that'd like to speak on this matter? I know, all right, go ahead, Kenny, Councilman.
Well, yeah, Mr. President, if I may, just because I want to make sure that the neighbors speak to this. And I thank the mayor. He reached out about a week ago, and I know he told the detailed police officers that they're to make sure that everybody has left the premises before they abandon their detail. However, I got some calls this weekend. I saw some video and photographs showing that the police detail did go into the establishment, made sure the patrons left at the end of the night, but then the police took off and left the staff behind, and the staff seemed to have been there again until 3 o'clock in the morning or so. I mean, there's video, photos. I have no reason to think that they're not legitimate. So I think that's a significant concern, and I'd like to hear from the neighbors and see what they're experiencing.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak?
Yes, sir. I have 3 so far with the hand raised. I'll bring in Mr. Di Donato.
It doesn't come in connection with what paying. No. Yeah, I don't know. He thought he paid or what?
Okay, Mr. DiDonato, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Council. Appreciate the opportunity to address the Council. I'm just going to echo what the mayor and Councilman Famigletti said. It's really night and day. We had a police presence there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the entire duration between 10 and 2, and there were no issues. So in comparison to, the weekend before, where we had the police detail Friday, there was a disturbance up top. So he left his post, went up top, and he went on foot. The car was still down below, but he went on foot because of the disturbance. But he was there all of Friday night, and we didn't have any issues. This is the weekend before. Saturday, they didn't have anybody down below. They were up top. I think the mayor had said that. And then Sunday we had all kinds of issues over here. And there was no detail at all on duty. So, I think the common denominator here is when there's a detail here, there's no issues. When there isn't a detail, then you have your issues. And really where it all starts to go to hell is between the hours of 9 to 12, and that's when you see the younger folks starting to come in, and they got the car radios blaring, and I don't know if it's because they're waiting for a table, but they seem to stay down below in their vehicles, and the radios are going, and then they get out of the cars, and and then they start to dance and go a little crazy, quite honestly. So that's that's what we've been experiencing when the detail isn't there. So I did respectfully request that if we could change the detail to 9 o'clock, because Friday and Saturday night the back parking lot is full by 9 o'clock. It is absolutely full. And then people start parking all over the place. They park along Elena Street, they park along Verde Street. And if that detail isn't there, then you're just gonna, it just gets worse and worse. So again, this past weekend was great. And it was because the detail was there. Appreciate the efforts of Councilman Famigletti and Mayor Lombardi. Definitely made the difference. In terms of, I think there were two other things. The music, I think in speaking with Liz Sunday before last, she said that she had done away with the live entertainment. And to me, I don't know about the other residents, but the music hasn't been an issue at all. So that's certainly gotten better, and do appreciate Liz's efforts on that as well. And in terms of the last item, it was the personnel leaving. I think they do a good job in terms of making sure that the public is out of the restaurant by 1 o'clock. But as far as the staff themselves, that they're remaining in the building. Me personally, it hasn't been an issue. There was one gentleman that was parking down below, a staff member that his radio would go on when he was leaving, and it was quite loud, and Liz took care of that right away. So anything beyond that hasn't been a bothersome to me. So with the warmer weather coming, that's obviously my biggest concern, because you're gonna get a lot more of it. I'm sure that after a while, it seems to be a lot of the same people that go. So I think word will spread rather quickly if they see that detail out there all the time. But I think with the warmer weather coming, it's going to take a bit before that word spreads. So do appreciate all the efforts, and hopefully we'll have the detail to stay.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
to Councilman Amorigi, Kenny, what was the date that you received that complaint? Because I think what we need to do is we need to find out who the detail officer was that night and make sure that that never happens again. So if you can get us that date, and with the date you want to call the officer or whatever, then we'll make sure that that officer is talked with, because, and everyone else is reminded they need to empty that building out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll send you a list of the dates via email along with the evidence of it, just so you guys can see that the exact time where people were starting to leave.
No problem.
Mr. President, can
Go
I
ahead.
ask a question more procedurally than anything else?
Yep.
Are we conducting a continuation of a renewal hearing, or is this a formal show cause hearing? Because if it's a formal show cause, I think we need to hear evidence that we can justifiably rely on. So what I'm asking is, if we're using the neighbor's testimony as evidence, I don't have a problem with that, but I think maybe they should be sworn in or something. If this is a full blown, when not that we do everything right in Providence, but we do a full blown show cause hearing, we have testimony by police officers who witnessed whatever it was that was going on, and then we potentially impose sanctions based on evidence that we get of particular dates and times and that kind of thing. So I guess I'm a little confused with exactly what we're doing, and I want to make sure that I feel comfortable making whatever decision we decide to make at the end of this. I don't know if Mark can speak on that or what.
But yes, Councilman. Obviously, as you know, we initially had a formal summons issued to them, where, if you recall, we issued a cease and desist order to all the businesses that didn't satisfy their requirements, their state taxes, local taxes, health issues. Thereafter, we issued a second summons for a special meeting in February 25 to this license holder for three things. One of which was, if you recall, that the cease and desist order gave them 10 days to pay their state taxes and so forth. These people claimed that they had a discrepancy with the taxes not being applied to the right accounts and so forth. So their issue of state taxes carried over to a summons that was issued on February 18th for a meeting on February 25, a formal meeting, Councilman Martone, for three things, which is the number 7 in your packet. Failure to pay the state taxes and satisfy that requirement, which I'm told has still not been done. And then the number 2 and 3 in there is failure to run their operation conducive to the neighborhood and for the disturbances in the neighborhood. So the formal hearing was continued to tonight. So this is technically a formal hearing, Councilman, on those three items.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, Council President?
Go ahead.
As far as Mary Ann, as far as Mark, have the state taxes been paid, or are they up to date?
No, they're not, Councilman. I checked again. I check every day, and I checked again just before we left for the day, and it's not paid.
Councilman
I
Di
did
Lorenzo.
Okay, sorry, Mary Ann. Okay, so
That's
I would like to ask Ms. Vasquez that exact question. Why aren't the taxes paid as of yet?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So there was an issue with the taxes. The taxes were paid. I actually have information that I can forward over to you guys. The taxes were paid. Apparently, the problem, we finally got into the bottom of this yesterday, and it was finally cleared as of today, but I have to go back down there tomorrow and take care of the penalty. So apparently what happened was that I was under the impression that I had to pay them quarterly. So I was making my quarterly payments, but because for some reason, the state has a quarterly payment available and they have a monthly payment available. So I filled out the form for the quarterly and I sent it out and they accepted it. But apparently that's not the proper way to do it. It's supposed to be done monthly, which I've never heard of it. I've always done it quarterly. But anyways, so my payments weren't applied because they didn't know what part of, so for example, I pay, let's say like $15,000 for like this quarter. They needed to know exactly how much went for the month of January, February, March, let's say, and because they didn't have that breakdown, they weren't able to apply my payments. So I was under the impression that everything was paid because I was paying it. But they were never applied because I sent it quarterly, they weren't able to apply it to the correct months because they didn't know what it was. So I spoke with with the guy over there. His name is Brendan. I have his information and he can tell you guys that, what I'm saying. And I have a letter that he sent me where he actually took care of everything today. I sent him an Excel sheet with, and I can send it to you guys as well, with every single, with the amounts that was supposed to be paid for each thing, like each month. And then he just basically took care of that for me. And then I, because I obviously I thought it was quarterly. So I was waiting till, the end of March to do this quarter. So I was late on January, February, March because it was supposed, not, excuse me, January, February, because it was supposed to be done monthly. So I got that. That's the only thing I need to go take care of, which I'm taking care of tomorrow. Because he sent me the information at like 3 o'clock and they close at 3:30. I don't have enough time to go and do it. But he did send me the email and I did speak with him and he sent me, you know, everything that I need. And he applied those payments where they needed to be applied. So the only thing that is pending is the January, February, and March, because I thought it was a quarter and it was, you know, monthly. So those are the
Liz,
only things that
Liz,
I've
can I
made.
can I ask one, I have to ask one question.
Yeah,
You're
go
telling me
ahead.
the state, I'm just saying, the state cashed your check for $15,000 and they put it in limbo? They didn't apply it anywhere? They just had it rolling
Yep,
around? somewhere? They
that's
put
it. And I
put it in
can,
their
yep,
pocket?
that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what, when we went over there to find out what the penalty was. Give me a second. Yes, you can. Just give it. To find out what the penalty was or what was going on and why, you know, they wouldn't give us any information because they said they're not talking to anybody there. But they gave me the information to the guy that's in charge of my account, and his name is Brendan. And I spoke with him and I said, I made all these payments and what, like, you know, what's going on. And he explained to me exactly what happened. And, you know, I can show you the proof. I have emails. We've been communicating through email. So I have the emails where he, you know, told me exactly what he needed. I sent him the Excel sheet with the breakdown for every single month. And he went ahead and told me, you know, you don't have to file, just tell me what goes where, and then I'll just apply it that way. And I told him, I said, you know, I don't want to be penalized, you know, I made a payment 2 months ago. I don't want to be penalized for these 2 months. And he said, that's not a penalty because once they receive the payment, the state holds it. So everything gets backtracked to that date. So I'm not penalized extra. I'm just going to be penalized for January and February because those I did not make because I thought it was a quarterly.
Mr. President, can I ask a question to Ms. Vasquez?
Go ahead, Councilman.
Mrs. Vasquez,
Yep.
it seems to be an ongoing problem as far as taxes are concerned. Is this the first time you've paid taxes on a business?
This is not because, so I have a business, but the business that I have is, we don't pay taxes. We don't do sales. It's a service. My mom
So
had
then
a
you don't-
bakery.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, so my mom
then
had a
you don't
bakery,
pay
but her
taxes on it.
bakery, I'm sorry, excuse me. My mom had a bakery. Her bakery, she used to pay for it quarterly. So, you know, I've had businesses prior in the past and I've always paid quarterly. So I don't know if they just, or recently transitioned to monthly. I don't know. I mean, why would you have a form available online for quarterly payments and not take them? That doesn't.
Okay, no, because you've been open for quite a while now, and if have they been receiving quarterly payments?
So what happened? We opened November of 2019, and then March, COVID hit and we closed. So
Okay, and when
that was a few months after. I did not pay that quarter. COVID closed. You know, we closed down for COVID. We had no money. You know, I'll be frank. We had no money. We broke. So, you know, we were closed for like 2, almost 3 months. We managed to, you know, come back and change a little bit of things. And, you know, and with the money that we had ourselves, we did the balcony and to try to get more people in, you know, because we were hurting. And we went ahead and we reopened, and, you know, somebody came and did a TikTok here and then Instagram, and then it just took off and everybody, we're popular. A lot of people come from out of state for us, you know. So when, you know, we started generating all this income and we caught up with our bills and stuff, we went ahead and paid all those taxes. And, you know, so I did not make the payments on time. You know, I'm not proud of it, but we were broke, we were closed, and we were affected by COVID. And this is, you know, we live from here. This is our money. So if we're not making any money here, we're broke, you know?
Okay.
But I am, you know, and like I said, I don't have no reason to lie to you guys. I do have proof, and I can send it to you right now if you like. I do have the proof that what I'm saying is accurate. And I can give you the contact information for Brandon, and I will go down there tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, and, you know, get everything. You guys had wanted like proof that that we had made payments, and my mom went and took those proof, the receipts. Actually, I think I sent it online, or I think I actually, I'm sorry. I actually emailed the receipts to Troy.
Excuse me, Liz, this is
So
Mary.
where are those receipts?
No, excuse me for 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
You had emails us receipts. And after that is when I spoke to Brandon or Brendan, whatever his name is, I'm not sure. And after that, he said you still owed more taxes. So
Because of
you
what I'm
sent
telling
us-
you.
All right, this is what I'm saying though, that you did send the receipts, but I talked to him after you send the receipts, and he did say you still owed more and you weren't clear after you sent those receipts. So you may have sent them, but they didn't clear you. those
That's what I'm
receipts.
saying. They didn't clear me because they didn't apply them because they didn't know where to apply them. But I did
Okay.
pay. I paid I
Okay.
paid like $50,000 in taxes.
All right, enough on taxes.
So,
What do
President,
we,
can I ask
Ms.
a-
Vasquez, let me, when is 787 not gonna be on our agenda anymore?
You
I
tell
mean-
me that. I know. Listen,
Well, I
I'm
mean, between this, this tax story is absurd. This,
It's
the
absurd.
the employees staying late. I mean, that's a simple fix. We've asked you numerous times. That's a simple fix. I mean, come on, why is this still on the agenda?
okay. We close. All right, that's fine.
Why are we still addressing this? Why are employees still staying late at night and we're having residents complain?
Okay.
I'm
This,
asking you a question.
can we go back and find out when we addressed that last? Because I'm sorry, but this is the first time I'm hearing about employees staying here late. So is there any way we can verify? I'm sorry.
That's not
That
true.
was very prevalent last meeting.
No.
Last
Yeah.
meeting, we were very direct
No,
about that.
last meeting we were discussing the music and everything else. Okay, that's fine.
All
I
recorded.
believe
I have a
Councilman
record of
Martone
it. If
spoke
you'd
about
like
a
a
state law.
Yeah, please. All right, so
I have a record of the meeting if you'd like it, Ms. Vasquez.
yes,
but-
Marianne, I actually would like it. Can you please forward that to me, please?
So if I
Sir,
may.
this-
Thank you. And just so I'm clear, what time would you guys like the employees out of here? Because we close at 1 o'clock.
We were clear about 4 meetings ago.
2:00.
No, well,
No, 1:30.
Well, state
State law.
requirement
All right,
says
everybody,
1:30.
everybody,
Right.
one person at a time.
1:30.
Mario,
1:30 should be.
explain to her the law, please.
So
I know you explained it in the
on a,
past.
on a 1 a.m. license,
Okay.
yeah, on a 1 a.m. license, there is a grace period to get patrons out by 1:20. However, the law says for all classes of licenses, you have to have all employees out 1/2 hour after your legal closing time.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is you have to get the patrons out at whatever time you need to ensure that all employees can be out by 1:30. So
Okay.
whatever it is that you need to do, if you need to let people out at midnight, or if you can figure out a better system where you can let people out at 1 and make sure the employees can do what they need to do to get out, 1:30 is the state law.
Okay,
It's right in the DBR regs. There shouldn't be
Okay.
anybody there
that's fine.
past that time. And
No problem.
And that's
Well-
the law.
Yep, I'll take care of it. No problem.
But this was explained to you before. And
The only time that I do recall that was when a police came over here and gave
Mr.
me a
President.
copy of it.
Ms.
he
Vasquez,
came-
all these meetings are
fine.
recorded. We can show that. to you.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. Yep, no problem.
So if I may, Mr. President, just
Go
quick.
ahead, Councilman.
So in the past, and I'm just trying to go, to be fair, what we've done in instances where there's unresolved tax issues, we've ordered the places not to operate until proof of full payment is made to town hall. I mean, if everything is as Ms. Vasquez says, she should be able to provide proof tomorrow and there would be no interruption in service. But in the past, that's what we've done. And I feel as though that's probably warranted here, but
That's perfectly fine. And I agree with you, sir. I do agree with you. If I won't open tomorrow if I don't take care of that tomorrow. How about that? If that's not taken care of tomorrow, I will
you
not
have to
open
make a
tomorrow.
motion, but thank you.
Okay, a
Yeah,
motion's been
perfect.
made by
I agree with that.
Councilman. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilman Famagetti. Is there any further questions? Attorney Welch. I
I'm
know you have-
sorry, Councilman, what was the motion? To not open if the taxes aren't clear? Is that the motion?
We cannot
Until-
operate,
Cannot
operate until proof of taxes are made that they paid and clear.
Okay,
Mark?
Mr. President, I don't have a problem with Mr. Councilman Ambrigi's motion, but just for the record, there's already a cease and desist order in effect going back months that said they were supposed to shut down and not open unless they paid the state taxes. That was back in, I believe, February. They weren't supposed to be open anyway, so I don't have a problem with Councilman Amorigi's motion and that passing. but just for purposes of the record and the license holder, they weren't supposed to be open past the Friday in February anyways, just in case there's some issue that this, somebody wants to try to challenge this, so.
Can I say one
Okay.
thing? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I say one thing? When we had that meeting, I believe it was the February meeting, when we went, and when everybody, I was not the only business. There was two other businesses that were before me that also had the same issue with the taxes. To be fair, those two businesses, neither one of them, and I clearly remember Duke's was one of them. Not to point them out because I don't know them, but Duke's was one of them, and they had not paid their taxes. And it was not an issue. You guys said because of COVID, you guys were going to allow them to continue operating and then just follow up at the next meeting. But when I came upon, it was an issue with me. So I just want, whatever happens with me, I don't, I just want it to be fair, because I don't feel like I'm being treated fairly.
That's not true.
No, we did grant you an extension.
Fortunately, Ms. Vasquez, all these meetings are recorded. So if anyone brings that up, we'll just show them the recording that it's clearly not
Yeah,
true.
I
It's
clearly
not true.
remember Duke's went in front of me. Duke's went in
did
front
it.
of me.
We were all.
And they hadn't paid their taxes, and
we
they
were
were,
all
and
treated
you
the
guys
same.
said, no problem, we're understanding, where we're, like, everything that's happening. We understand because of COVID and everything, and, it's fine, we'll bring it up at the next meeting. And then when it was
We didn't
my
give you the
turn,
same courtesy?
excuse me?
We didn't
They
give you
were
the
on
same
last
courtesy?
month's meeting too.
Yeah. I'm just saying, and then when it was my turn and I told you guys about, I had paid and everything, okay, no problem, blah, blah.
Yeah, but
But-
everywhere, I gotta stop. Everybody had the same courtesy
Yeah.
from the
You're
same
allowed
time.
to
It's
say
been
that.
almost 4 months. They paid theirs up. Yours hasn't.
And I
haven't
paid
been paid.
mine.
No,
I'll bring
I
you
know,
guys.
but listen, you may
No,
have
that's
paid the
fine.
state. You may have paid the state. They put your money, they put an escrow and then apply it to something. But that's not
That's
the
fine.
town's fault. We're going by what's on the law and on the books.
I understand, and I will definitely make sure that is applied tomorrow. I mean, he said he applied it
I
today,
got you.
but I'll make sure that is applied. And I'm not lying. I have no reason to lie. And you see how busy this is. I don't have a reason to lie. And I don't feel like you said my story was whatever you said, bogus or whatever the word you used, and it's not fair for you to even speak to me like that, because it's not a lie. But that's fine. Let's just continue to the next thing. I want to thank you
Mr.
guys.
Chairman.
Councilman Di Lorenzo, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question for all the town council. When we were going through this with the Duke, and I believe it was Palmer at the time, did we not give them 2 weeks to take care of the, so we gave them a
Yes.
2-week period. So I want to ask how long it's been now with 787 that we've been giving them up until this point? Is it longer than 2 weeks? Is it a month? Is it 2 months?
Well, if you
February
go by
25th.
February, we're in April 6th.
February
Right.
25th.
So we gave the Duke and the other one 2 weeks, just to make sure Ms. Vasquez understands that we gave everyone 2 weeks. We've given you almost 2 months.
But
just
I
wanna make
made
sure
the
so
payment. I want you guys to
we're fair.
sorry. And I thank you for that. But I made the payment. It's not like I did not make the payment.
Yeah,
It
but
was
you
not
just-
applied
but you
correctly,
just-
and it
but
was
you
my
just-
fault, sir.
Ms.
I'm
Vasquez, you
sorry.
just said that we were being unfair to you.
That's fine. I'm not speaking. That's fine.
Mr.
Okay.
President.
That's
Go
fine.
ahead, Councilman.
So I want to just make sure that we're all on the same page. Let's assume that the taxes are all squared away tomorrow. And I have no reason to believe that that's not going to happen. And I think we need to figure out what the operations are going to look like if they can operate this weekend. So one question that I had is I heard a lot of stuff about there was a detail on, then there wasn't a detail on. And so my question is, what is the story with the detail? Are we requiring a detail on all weekend nights? Are they putting a detail on? Are we able to fill it? Are we not able to fill it? Because what it sounds like a detail makes sense, but I want to make sure that we understand when they have to order it. Can they open if they don't have a detail? And I think we need to make sure that we have a good game plan for continued operations if the taxes are squared away tomorrow.
I think that we will address that after this motion.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my thought, that we take care of this motion and then we move on to the detail issue.
Okay, a motion's been made by Councilman Amorigi and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr.
All those
Chairman,
opposed? Go ahead, Mayor.
just a suggestion concerning the taxes, by the way. Maybe you may want to think about the clerk be notified by 4 o'clock tomorrow. And if the taxes are not satisfied by 4 tomorrow, then, Madam Clerk would need to notify the police department that they're not going to be able to open. But again, that's your call, but if it's a matter of the taxes, and I would defer to Mark on that one, I don't
Hey,
know.
you'll get that information, Marianne, correct?
Yes, I can check the site or I can call there, but they have not, as of 4:30, they didn't upload it. So, they didn't put her name on there for being cleared. So I'm not sure if she cleared it today, what the issue was, because when one of the other restaurants that she had mentioned cleared, they called me and said, I just paid my taxes, and within an hour, the site had showed that they cleared. So
Marianne.
I'm not sure.
Marianne, can I say something?
Sure.
They haven't cleared it because of what I was just telling you, that I owe January and February because I thought it was quarterly. So because I've been making the payments quarterly, I paid all year until January, right? Until December 31st. I paid all that, but it was not applied correctly. So that's when you were checking, like, for that meeting in February or whatever, when you were checking, it was not showing up because it wasn't applied correctly because I had paid quarterly. So he went ahead today and applied everything based on the, I basically gave him a breakdown. Instead of the quarterly, I went ahead and did it monthly. And I gave him a breakdown like, okay, this quarter, let's say I paid $40,000 in taxes. 10 belongs to January, 10 belongs to, February, and 20 belongs to March. So he went ahead and was able to apply all that. But because, again, in my head, I thought it was quarterly, the month of this year, basically January, February, and now March, that month just ended, I was going to pay it in now in April. So January and February is considered late because I was paying it quarterly and it was supposed to be monthly. Do you understand? So now January and February is considered late, and March is not considered late because he told me I have till April 20th to pay it. So I need to go down there basically and give him a certified check, which is what he told me, to fully be clear. I just need to go and bring him a certified check for the taxes that I owe from January and February, and basically March. That way I don't have to, owe March, January, February, March of this year, to be able to be fully clear. Because for last year, I was clear for that last meeting that we were at when we talked about this, for the February meeting, I was clear, but because it wasn't applied correctly, it wasn't showing up. But now I'm not clear because I still owe these months.
Okay,
In my
Ms.
head, it was
Vasquez,
quarterly.
all right, we have to move on from the tax issue. It's already been discussed. I appreciate that. Councilman Di Lorenzo, do you have a question?
It's okay. It's a tax question. We'll just skip it. Don't worry about it.
Mr. President, did Councilman Amorigi's motion pass? Is that-
Yes. Yes. Okay, Councilman Famagetti, did you have a second motion?
I do,
mentioned
Mr.
that earlier.
President.
Okay.
Given the effectiveness of the detail and given the reports of the neighborhoods in my discussion with the mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we require the detail Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 9 p.m. to 2 o'clock a.m. with the caveat that the detail ensures that all customers and staff are out of the building before they leave.
Okay, and motion's been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Amorigi. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Councilman?
I thought I heard that at one point a detail could not be filled. Did that happen? And I'd like to discuss what happens if that's the case, if it's no fault of the business.
Mr. Chairman, if I may address that, I would tell you that they've assured us, police department, that there will be a detail mandated to that establishment. My next question would go to the legal counsel. If a detail officer can't not be provided a mock, what happens, can we mandate that if there isn't a detail that, they can't open? I don't know about that.
It's Mayor, it's my understanding from the last meeting that this was a This wasn't necessarily a mandated police detail. It was an agreed stipulated stipulation to the license between the town council and the license holder. The license holder, as a result of the last hearing, agreed to have a police detail
That's
there on those Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. So if we can't have a detail there, then, you know, it creates the problem, but it's a stipulation to the license, you know?
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. So I was the one that actually suggested to have the detail. And I thank you guys for allowing me to have the detail, because honestly, it's helped a lot. The issue that I have in this establishment, just to be clear, we don't have problems with people fighting. We don't have problems with, you know, brawls and like people acting crazy. We have problems with people coming in and leaving and being loud. And it's disrupting the neighbors behind us. You know, but just to be clear, I'm not running a, you know, like a crazy establishment here. It's just that we are packed and this is a big place and there's a lot of people and it's hard, you know, to have everybody be quiet. When speaking with the neighbors last week, I was out there and we, you know, there was 3 neighbors out there and we spoke and I suggested, because the problem is the back. And it's because there's so many cars coming in and out and I don't have enough parking for all the people that come in and out. So people are parking down, you know, the street, and then the side street is also a no parking zone. So that makes it even harder. So people, because they can't park right on the side, they're parking where people live, you know, down the street, down Verde and stuff. I ended up speaking with United Valet, you know, because that was another thing that I suggested at the last meeting. And we decided to go, you know, we all agreed and to start with the detail. You know, I want to help, you know, out with the problem also, because I understand that, you know, it's disruptive, and, you know, and I want to help too. And I want to see what I can do. So I spoke with United Valet, because I think that, and when I'm speaking with the neighbors, we all agree that maybe having a valet service where people are not actually going to the back might work out, because then there's no noise in the back. The only noises are from the people bringing the cars, which is going to be the valet company. You know,
I'm not sure that valet is even open as of yet, Councilman. Nowhere, no restaurant or club or anywhere that I know of has any valet as of yet, as far as COVID goes.
They're actually open, yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, I went to Skyline in Providence and Mayor Rooftop and stuff, and they all have valet. I spoke with United Valet, and he's licensed and everything through the state. He does a lot of the restaurants in downtown Providence. And, you know, he agreed to take on our account. He said he used to be here before with Okies, when Okies was here, and he used to do valet for Okies. So he's very familiar with the business. He's very familiar with the area. And he agreed to take our account. So what I wanted to ask you guys was, you know, the council, if it was possible for us to try that out for maybe a month, that in you know, also with the police detail, to see if there's an improvement, and then, you know, we can determine if that's something we're going to continue long run and stuff. I personally believe that that's going to help, because then we don't have patrons in the back. It's only the valet companies, you know, and then that they can, because, you know, a lot of times it's like people park in the back and then block, and then, you know, it's an issue, because like I said, I don't have a lot of parking in here, and the parking that we do have in the back, it's not marked properly. So people just park all over the place. It's not, you know, the entrance, like where you go in and where you come out, it's not clear. So people park there, you know, and then we have the security telling them to move and stuff. So that's an issue, you know. And another thing I wanted to speak was, maybe I can speak with one of the businesses surrounding the area, and you know, where my valet company can, you know, we can maybe rent that out at night so that the people can park there, and maybe that's going to cut the amount of traffic coming in and out. Because I'm sure the police department can also tell you that the issue that we're having here is the traffic, because there's so many people coming in, and, you know, and I don't know why they come in 20 different cars, and it's an issue, you know.
Yeah, but there may be too many people.
Is this primarily a restaurant, or is this now a bar?
It's a restaurant.
I recall it being a restaurant, and I haven't heard of many restaurants having this issue. especially late night. Maybe the other councilmen are more familiar with something that's happened like that.
So we function as a restaurant. We are restaurant lounge. We have a lot of traffic. Like I said, what we made has like quadrupled in the past months because somebody came here and did a TikTok. And you know how the internet is, and it blew up and it was shared 86,000 times. And we have people coming here from Connecticut, Massachusetts, from all over the place. A lot of the people that come here are not even from Rhode Island, they're from Massachusetts. Because of a TikTok, 2 TikToks actually that were shared, and they were shared in TikTok and Instagram. And that's what we became popular, but we are a restaurant. I can show you how much money I spend, in food. We operate as a restaurant. I'm sure, the police officers come in here all the time, to get people out, and they can see there's not one table here that does not have food in the table at all. We operate as a restaurant and we're busy and our food's good,
I think at this point, if they can't fill a detail, then they shouldn't be allowed to open. And we need to move on from this matter. It's been discussed at length, and that's that. So I don't know if any other council people have suggestions. They can't open tomorrow anyways until they show proof that the taxes have been paid. Going forward, that's a stipulation. We did it with several bars in the past. Mark, I'm sure you remembered when we had issues with them. Unfortunately, if the police didn't fill the detail, that was a part of the license. So I'm open to suggestions, but we have to move on from this item at this point. It's been discussed at length, and we're talking in circles now.
But I don't know that I got an answer to my question as to why the detail wasn't filled last week or the weekend before.
There's no one here from the department that can answer that question. Unfortunately, I'm kind of disappointed there's no one here.
They've had, if I may, Mr. Chairman, just end this. They posted the detail, Mario, and that one Sunday evening that Mr. DiDonato, talked about, they just couldn't get a detail. So we asked them to start, when that happens again, to reach out to the neighboring communities. And I'm sure, it doesn't matter what the kind of a uniform the office has on, as long as we make sure that they provide a detail. I'll keep you abreast. I'd like to be able to say, don't worry about it, but I know they're trying their best, and maybe there's too many details during the day, and these fellows are being compensated enough during the day and do not want an evening detail. I mean, no, really, okay, aside.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Council President, we still have one public comment if you wish, or?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll bring them in, Antonio. Go ahead, so you can speak.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me.
Just state your name for the record, please.
Yes, hello. My name is Antonio De Cristofaro. I'm a resident here at 79 Verde Street, directly behind the building, 787. I know you've heard from me before. This has been an ongoing event over a year now. I've been dealing with this. I'm completely dissatisfied. This is affecting my life, my sleep, my lack thereof, my ability to get up early in the morning and make it to work. The music still is an issue. Yes, it's not as loud as it was. It is toned down a bit, but we still hear it. I still hear it from the hours of 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. I've been in this town my entire life. I've had this building for 20 years. I remember going to Saloy's to get slush puppies. I remember when Fruit Hill Fire Department had a yellow fire truck. I remember walking up to Mr. Nick's Lemonade, having dinner. When Wildfire was Stuffy's, before it was Stuffy's, Ponderosa. This is my town, and I'm disgusted at what I see nightly out there. Coming home from work, blue strobe lights bouncing off the front of my house, security guards. This isn't my humble, quaint little town anymore. It looks like Way Boston Street. It looks like downtown Providence, Broad Street. It looks like Daya Street. I'm not against having a restaurant, like Miss Vasquez stated. I can think of four times this last 30 to 40 days I've had police out in the front of my building. I've called, I've met them out there in front. I've stated my concerns. People dancing on rooftops of their cars, passing 12, 14-inch water pipes around each other, singing out loud with their trunks open, blasting music. By the time the police respond, they're gone. I've had the police, and they're great guys. I thank them for their duty. I appreciate them showing up. And my other neighbors can attest to this. They've actually, we've asked, hey, how come you didn't approach that group of people and disperse them a little more rapidly? He said, well, this first officer responded, said, well, there's one of me and there's 5 or 6 of them. And later that night, laying in bed till 2 in the morning, I thought, well, you know what, if this officer who's trained to handle crowds, who has a taser, pepper spray and firearms and a baton and all this equipment, and he's trained to handle this stuff, if he's cautious with walking onto a crowd of 5 or 6 people in that back parking lot, how do us civilians feel when we see it? Just this past Saturday night, 10:30 at night, my neighbor down the street, I know he's got his hand raised as well, texted me, be careful. I just caught a guy in my backyard urinating. This gentleman lives not even 100 feet from where the police detail was parked. With the police detail parked in that back lot and his blue lights shining on my house, somebody from that restaurant left and went and walked into my neighbor's backyard and peed in his lawn. This is not a restaurant. And Ms. Vasquez, we had some words out in the street. The neighbors and I, myself, my tenants, and 2 of my other neighbors called the police for this group of people passing a pipe around, a 12-inch water pipe around their car, running up and down the street, racing each other, causing a disturbance. We called the police to come disperse this crowd. And Ms. Vasquez, with 2 or 3 of her associates from her bar, they looked like bouncers of some type, quickly approached us, the neighbors, yelling at me, who's going to pay our rent? Who's going to pay our rent? Well, you know what? I've already lost a tenant in November. December they left. I have a tenant that just gave me 30 days notice. So who's going to pay my rent? My building is emptying, and who's going to move in? She was yelling at me saying, I shouldn't have moved into a neighborhood. I shouldn't have moved into a building with a business nearby. And I reminded her that I've had this building for 20 years and that she moved into my neighborhood. I'm even with the police presence, even with the security guards, I'm not satisfied with what's going on outside my house. I have a young family. I have an elderly neighbor across the street, right across the street. I was over there yesterday helping her with a clogged sink in her kitchen, and she says she has to stuff her ears with cotton balls to sleep at night. I don't know. I had, Ms. Vasquez was yelling at me in the street saying that she's.
I was not.
Listen,
Okay,
it got loud. It got loud. I think everybody was pretty upset about a lot of things, and we were all speaking over each other. And you told me how busy you were this season because it's tax season and you're an accountant. I don't know if you're a CPA, but you said you do taxes. So, your bookkeeping portion of your job is very busy right now, apparently. But no, you did say to me that, I shouldn't have moved into a neighborhood where there's a business. And I reminded you that I've had this building for 20 years, and there was never any incident when it was Oki's Steakhouse. Okay. I asked you if you could operate your business as advertised, as a restaurant and a lounge. A lounge meaning a quiet, nice place to relax and enjoy a meal. I see it as a nightclub. Everybody sees it as a nightclub. You say it's not, but I see your primary peak business between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. I don't see you serving, I see your specials being $3 tequila shots and martinis. It doesn't take much to look at your Facebook and see what your business is. I don't have to go up there and look at the tables. I asked you, you complained to me and to the other neighbors saying that it's costing you $5,000 or more for police details that you volunteered to do. And I said, well, maybe if you could say, close the kitchen at 9, close the bar at 10, close the restaurant at 11, and be a restaurant, those few hours at night that you'd be losing in business would be equal to the $5,000 you're spending on detail. It might end up being a wash. You'd still be having about the same money in your till, and your neighborhood would be a little bit quieter. I think it's a win-win, but you didn't like that idea either. I know there's several other neighbors that would like to speak as well. I could go on and on. Like I said, this has been over a year that I've been dealing with this. Last spring and summer, I was really nervous because I was looking forward to sleeping with my windows open. I've got 2 wooded lots behind me. It's full of animals. I have it certified with the wildlife habitat. There's a lot of wildlife back there. I like hearing the crickets. Even with my windows closed, I hear music. So what's going to happen when the weather is nice?
Okay, Ralph, is there other members of the public that would like to speak?
You have one other, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks for hearing me.
Thank you, Antonio.
Hear me clearly?
Yep.
Hey, good evening, everybody in the council, and Antonio and everybody else, and Miss Liz. I recently moved to North Providence in November of 2019.
Can you just state your name for the record, sir?
Sorry about that. My name is Gioshani La Paz. I live 16 Elena Street. I was the person who Antonio was referring to, who had somebody urinate. I recently moved to North Providence November of 2019, around the time that the business opened up. I come from very humble beginnings. I'm a United States veteran. I actually got out of the military and moved straight to North Providence for a better life. I worked hard. I started my own business too. It has gotten pretty bad on some nights. For instance, I also had to make a call this past summer. I had somebody drunk while coming to my backyard while I was working out and getting in shape. And my dad had to run my child inside the house, and I had to subdue the drunk person until the police came, and they had to take him away. This past Saturday at 10:30, I left to go get gas. I saw the police officer. He was actually given parking citations. And upon my arrival, I believe he was somewhere in the back, and I saw 2 young gentlemen yelling at somebody in my backyard. At first, I got kind of worried thinking it was my wife, and it was actually somebody who came out running from my backyard. I almost accidentally ran them over, and they went running into the parking lot. I go see what's happening, and I see him zipping up his pants. And then I go to my second floor of the backyard and noticed that he had urinated. I could smell it clearly, and my tables and my chairs were flipped over. I don't want to bring any problems to Miss Liz or anybody. I'm Hispanic myself. I understand, how it is being an entrepreneur. I understand how the struggle is. I also had to start a business in the middle of COVID, and it has been successful. And I myself am planning on moving in the summer, but I would like this problem addressed because I do have sympathy for my neighbors also, and even for myself because it has been rough. And I kind of I had a combat MOS. I'm a former infantryman. I'm a war veteran. I don't feel like I shouldn't. I feel like I shouldn't have to wrestle somebody or be on guard in America. Like, I feel like my days of, mounting up my gear and, putting on my rifle, I feel like that's kind of like, behind me. So I feel like I shouldn't have to be on guard anymore in, my own house. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your service too.
I had a suggestion earlier. Is there any questions on it?
Dina, was that the can't open without a police detail?
Yes.
Okay, I'd amend my motion. I would amend my motion to include that.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bacala. Any questions on that? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Item number 8, vendor license. Discussion and possible action and vote regarding the approval by the town council of a vendor license for Joshua Nielsen of Phantom Fireworks, Eastern Region LLC DBA Phantom Fireworks, 1920 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island, 02904. Is Josh Nielsen here?
Yes, sir, I found him. Give me a second.
Okay. Okay, you all have the information in front of you. Is there any questions for Mr. Nielsen? There being none, do I have a motion to approve the vendor license for Phantom Fireworks?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Bacala, seconded by Councilman Famagetti. Any questions, further questions? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Nielsen. Number 9, private detective's license. Town council to consider approval of a new private detective license from Edwin Diaz of Day and Night Investigations located at 236 Lexington Avenue, North Providence, Rhode Island. Is Mr. Diaz here?
I don't see no one by that name. Mr. Diaz, can you raise your hand? No hands raised, sir. Nobody by that name.
Okay, do I have a motion to remove this item from the agenda?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bacala. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 10, Class F liquor license. Town council to consider a vote for the approval of a Class F1 liquor license for Stephen Hallis of Easy Bar LLC from May 16th and October 16th, 2021 at the Me and Overlook. We granted Mr. Hallis this license last month. He did a great job, and I thank him for that. And I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this again.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Di Lorenzo, seconded by Councilman LaPortio. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Good luck, Mr. Hallis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Item number 11, parking issues on Concord Street. Councilman Famagetti requests discussion and possible vote regarding parking issues on Concord Street. Councilman.
Mr. President, I'd just like to refer this to the ordinance committee.
Okay, motion's been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Amorigi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 12, North Providence Earth Day Community Cleanup. Councilman Famagetti requests discussion and possible vote regarding North Providence Earth Day Community Cleanup. Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be very brief. One of the residents of District 2 came to me and we were discussing an idea of how we can clean up the community. There's been some interest posted on the community Facebook pages and whatnot. So Christina Taglianetti, who lives off Charles Street, her and I talked about this. thought it'd be a good idea just to advertise an informal event for people to go out, clean up the streets if there's any trash or whatnot, just to build a better sense of community and clean up our streets in honor of Earth Day in the process. So we're doing an informal event of April 24th. It's not on Earth Day, it's the Saturday after, for a community cleanup, and we plan on advertising it further. So just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, and everybody's welcome to participate.
Thank you, Councilman. It's nice to have some positive.
We do our best.
Okay, item number 13, bid for audit contract. Town clerk requests permission to re-advertise to go out to bid for the audit contract for FY ending 2021, 2022, and 2023. Original ad ran in March and no one bid. We have a motion to rebid the audit contract.
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Famagetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman
With
Bacala.
the question,
Go ahead,
what
Councilman.
what happens if another bid doesn't come in?
I spoke to Auditor General, Councilman. I spoke to his office and they said if I don't get any bids, they can talk to me about giving me a list of auditing firms that I can send a type of letter to, but I will have to discuss that with them.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
Mr.
You're
Chairman.
Council, Mayor, go ahead.
Yeah, so Ron, to answer your question, we're doing the same.
Okay.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 14, resignation letter. Received letter of resignation to be accepted with regret from Thomas E. Green from the Historic District Commission. To North Providence Town Clerk and North Providence Town Council. With this letter, I submit my resignation effective immediately as a member of the North Providence Historic District Commission. My reason for resigning is because membership on this commission is a joke. We make decisions and someone else other than the commission members make contrary decisions. This makes our efforts a total waste of time. I urge the North Providence Town Council to dissolve the North Providence District Commission immediately. Thomas E. Green, commission member. That's unfortunate, but do I have a motion to accept his letter of resignation?
So moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Amorigi. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bacala. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 15, board appointments, town council discussion and possible vote with regard to appointments to made to the following boards: Environmental Commission and Historic District Commission due to resignation of previous agenda items. I don't have my list of boards in front of me. Does someone have who the reappointment would be from the Environmental Commission?
Joseph Riccitelli from
Okay.
Jackson Drive.
Can someone make a motion to reappoint Mr. Riccitelli?
I make a motion to reappoint Joseph Riccitelli.
Okay, motion been made by Councilman Bacala and seconded by Councilman Laportio. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 16, Public Safety Committee Report. Town Council discussion and possible vote with regard to the Public Safety Committee Report to be presented by Councilman Laportio. Do I have a motion to move this to the May meeting?
So
moved.
Motion been made by Councilman Di Lorenzo, seconded by Councilman Bacala. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 17, Finance Committee Report. Town Council discussion and possible vote with regard to the Finance Committee Report to be presented by Councilman Amorigi. Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the Finance Committee met March 23rd, which was last week, I believe. Week before, I don't remember at this point. We had the full committee there. We were also joined by Legal Counsel, Communications Director Nahigian, Mayor Lombardi, Councilman Di Lorenzo, Councilman Bacala. We had 3 items on the agenda, one of which we passed off, which was the item about the speed bumps. We're just going to hold that in abeyance until the Public Safety Committee makes recommendations. Otherwise, the 2 issues that we have to take a vote on tonight, you can read all the details in my report, but The Finance Committee made a motion, actually through Councilman Martone, that to recommend to the full council that we approve the expenditure of $7,200 this year and $6,300 for the other years of the contract to enter into an agreement with Coinbase for them to provide the town's streaming services.
Yay.
I guess that was Mary. So that's the recommendation of the committee. The council take a vote approving that. I guess I can make that motion now.
Okay, motion been made by Councilman Amorigi. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bacala. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you. And then there was a second motion with regards to the streaming services and the town council chambers in general. The motion was and passed unanimously that we recommend to the town council to approve an expenditure up to $30,000 from our 10% account for capital improvements to the council chamber for audiovisual purposes.
Thank you, Councilman. You just cut out. What was that?
So I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Okay, a motion's been made by Councilman Amorigi. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Di Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you. And then the last item on the agenda that produced a vote was Mayor Lombardi had put on item on the agenda, a discussion and possible vote on moving the fuel depot from the old public safety complex to the DPW garage, including any property purchases necessary to execute the move. And after substantial discussion, mostly led by Mayor Lombardi, the Finance Committee made a recommendation to recommend to the full council to approve the expenditure needed to facilitate purchasing the lots abutting the DPW, as well as the cost associated with moving the fuel depot. So I will also make that in the form of a motion, although I just would like to point out that I don't know, I would actually defer to legal counsel on this. We didn't actually identify where those funds would come from necessarily, but we did recommend, or we are recommending to the full council that such an expenditure be approved. I don't know what the next steps are that need to be taken procedurally. Legal counsel.
Okay, motion been made by Councilman Amorigi. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Martone, go ahead.
Pretty well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kenny, if I'm not mistaken, I think the mayor said that out of that asphalt money that was going to come back, 75,000 was going to be to move that. Am I correct?
He did say that, Steve.
Yeah, well-
74,000, I believe.
74,000.
Well,
Yes.
correct. He said that, but then that matter, if you remember earlier in this meeting, was then referred back to the Finance Committee
Yes.
to take a vote on that as a proposition. So I guess it still leaves this in limbo in finance. How would you interpret that, Attorney Welch?
I would say that the Finance Committee makes the recommendation to the council. I think that it's still up to the council as to where the money will come from. Obviously, there was a discussion earlier, but you know, at this point, it's up to the council where the money comes from. So, you know, your Finance Committee report is on for this evening to be accepted and placed on file. I don't know that the other item is actually on the agenda. You know.
Right. And the recommendation was just a general one to approve the expenditure per the mayor's request, but didn't actually identify any specific source.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
So what I explained earlier this evening is that I don't have I think it was 394,000 that's in that contingency. And I would respectfully request at this point in time, because I just want to make sure we don't run out of time. As you know, there's a P&S that we signed with those prospective buyers of the old public safety complex. So I'm just trying to get a jump on this. By the time we approve the purchase, have a closing, and then, by the way, we have to do some work on that property next to the garage, some filling, some tree cutting. I just don't want to, for this to affect the sale of the public safety complex. Again, the money's in contingency. The remainder of the money, it was only a suggestion, be transferred over to Pickering. So again, I thought that the Finance Committee, when we chatted with all of you, understood exactly what the plans were for the purchase, and so that we can move on. The other thing I need to tell you, we visited with the manufacturing company that abuts that property. You know, he was very excited, and I went to visit him only to tell him, we may be on your property for a while. So whatever you do here is going to make it a lot cleaner than it is, so we appreciate that. So again, I would just be a little concerned with prolonging this any longer, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, the only problem I have is that you know, in order to really do this legally, you'd really have to amend the budget, because the budget says that no money was allocated in the council section of the budget for a particular purpose, and now you use it for something else, you know, albeit, as the mayor says, a great idea and something everybody wants to get behind. But we, you know, Anthony Galone and I have had these issues before, and we've always jointly thought that you have to amend the budget to move it around. It's one thing to take money that's been allocated to any different department. The charter allows some money to be, you know, reallocated within a department from one line item to another. Here, we're taking it from the council section of the budget and moving it somewhere else. I just have that concern. I'm not trying to not get behind a great idea. I think it is, but I just have that concern.
Yeah, I think, and just to be fair with what the mayor said, I mean, the mayor did explain that to us as a general idea that he had, but he also said that, you know, money will be used and can be, you know, moved around as needed. And we are fully in support of the idea of, you know, purchasing that property and spending the money to move the fuel depot. The mechanisms of that, you know, we didn't discuss because it wasn't on the agenda. There was no specific agenda item about amending the budget harder to move that contingency money. But I think we'll approve the expenditure. There's money out there. The mayor knows obviously where to find it. And then if we end up moving other money after.
Mr. President.
Right.
Instead of, I know we already did it, but would it make more sense, instead of referring that original agenda item to finance, that we just had a special meeting to amend the budget instead? And I think we're all on the same page. Do we need to send it to finance first, or could we just vote on it as a?
Oh, yeah, you're probably right, Mario. The reason I sent that to finance earlier was to create an ordinance to amend the budget, you know? Yeah. But yeah, let's just do that, because this is getting you know, a little. Yeah, let's you're right. Let's do that. I'll call a special meeting within the week to address those two issues. And you know, with the caveat that we have to amend the budget. Would we have to advertise that?
Yes. Yeah, you have to amend it the same way that you adopted it in the first place. So yes, you'd have to advertise it. That's why sometimes in the past, what monies we were moving around, Anthony Galone and I thought that you have to make sure that it's, you know, worthwhile to spend the money financially, you know, to do it. So, but yes, you'd have to advertise, Mr. President.
Okay, Mary Ann, I'll call you tomorrow and we'll figure this out.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I don't think a week is gonna, you know, really make that much of a difference. But again, if you could do this as quickly as possible, and if you do make the decision, you're going to move the rest of that money for the paving, then my suggestion is, and again through your legal counsel, that you do this all in one meeting.
Okay. Okay. A motion's been made. And seconded. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Number 18, Claims Committee Report. Town Council discussion and possible vote with regards to the Claims Committee Report to be presented by Councilman Bacala.
Thank you, Council President. It's about time. It's 8:35. On March 25th at 5:30 p.m., the Claims Committee met. The members present was myself, Councilman Di Lorenzo, Councilman Martone, and Legal Department. Mark Welch. As you gentlemen can see, you have the paper in front of you with all the claims on it. Is there any, anything that stands out to anybody? Any questions? If there's not, I'd like to make a motion to accept the report as is.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion been made by Councilman Bacala, seconded by Councilman Di Lorenzo. Any questions? There being none, all those in favor? All those opposed, the ayes have it. Item number 19, claims submitted, town council discussion and possible vote with regard to the claims received from the following. Michael R. Lombardi, Esquire, for Michael Perkins, 1011 Smith Street, first floor, Providence, Rhode Island. Elaine O'Connor, 70 Atlantic Boulevard, North Providence, Rhode Island. And Nancy Cashmiro, 7 Timber Street, North Providence, Rhode Island. Do I have a motion to refer these to the finance, the
So moved.
committee? Motion been made by Councilman Bacala. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Di Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, hold on. Motion's been made and seconded. Go ahead, Mayor.
just give you a little breakdown. We, anyone that's coming into the town hall, you see that we're doing extensive cleanup there, painting, new flooring, and things are coming along very, very well there. So if it's inconvenience anyone, we apologize, but when we finish, it'll be one of the neatest, cleanest town halls in the state, I can tell you that.
Thank you, Matt.
Mr. Chairman, I once again, I want to give a shout out to the senior center, the volunteers, the fire department. Again, another 800-900 people last Saturday for the vaccine shot. It's amazing what those guys are doing and those girls are doing. They do a great job. We should all be proud of them. We really should. And to see how it seems like they're doing it, like they've been doing it for years. That's how good they are at it. So I just want to shout it again to everyone. Great job. Great job.
While he's on
Mr.
that,
President.
Mr. Chairman, I know everyone wants to go home, but while he's on that, it looks like we had a conversation with the health department a couple of days ago and convinced them that because of number of people in our town and the fact that we're only 5.2 square miles, that we may be a perfect community to conduct our own pods. We're going to be part of the Johnson Smithfield North Providence pod. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. So our day is next Tuesday, but it appears as though after that, we're going to be conducting it in our own town to satisfy our own residents because of the zip code. And we convinced them that that's what should happen. So it should be great for our residents, by the way.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Just want to take a minute to thank you all, Mayor Lombardi, your office, town clerk's office, council, and the entire town council on behalf of my family. Your support was immense and well appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. We're all sorry for your loss again.
At least we could do.
Thanks. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Stay healthy, everybody.
Gentlemen.